Jewish Channel's Week in Review. Catholic clergy gathered to denounce Holocaust denial. The first Orthodox Jewish woman in America to receive something approximating a rabbinic degree. The most expensive single program in American Jewish history may not be accomplishing much at all. And do we finally have a new Israeli government? Hello, and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Stephen I. Weiss. Is Bibi Netanyahu the next Prime Minister of Israel? It seems almost certain. With roughly 6 weeks since Israelis voted, and Netanyahu already having received an extension to form a coalition government, the Likud party leader may well have wrapped things up earlier this week when Ehud Barak's left-wing Labour Party voted to join the right-wing Netanyahu's coalition, and then Netanyahu inked a separate deal with the small right-wing Habayit Hayudi party. Netanyahu still needed another partner in the coalition, since some Labour leaders are threatening to split the party in two over joining Netanyahu. If 7 or more of Labour's 13 members of Knesset do indeed depart, the same number that protested the vote to join Netanyahu, Netanyahu would otherwise end up at least 1 seat shy of the 60 he needs to form a government, after adding in the other members of his coalition, Yisrael Beitenu and Shas. Habayit Hayudi's 3 votes mean that he'll almost certainly stay above the 60 votes needed. So the Israel elections drama that's already well into its second month could yet continue. But how American Jews visit Israel could also become a contentious issue, as a new survey reveals that a mere 4% of Birthright Israel alumni attend more than one Jewish event per year. Birthright, which is likely the largest Jewish educational program in history, has spent well over $200 million to send more than 160,000 Jewish youngsters on free 2-week trips to Israel. But a survey out of Brandeis University revealed this week that fully 44% haven't attended a single Jewish event since, and only 4% have attended 5 or more Jewish events in the average of 3 years since they've participated in Birthright. Meanwhile, the number of Orthodox Jewish American women certified as Jewish legal authorities has made a leap this week from 0 to 1. Rebecca Honig-Friedman has that story.
I'm here in the sanctuary of the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale, an Orthodox synagogue where for the first time a woman is serving as the equivalent of rabbi.
We're breaking so many boundaries right now just by me being here, by standing and talking from the bima on Shabbat morning. I can do a funeral and a wedding and serve as pastoral counselor for any of my congregants if they're willing to come to me. I can answer questions of halachic nature.
One thing Hurwitz cannot do, however, is be addressed as rabbi. Hurwitz has worked for 6 years as a congregational intern and madricha ruchanit, or spiritual advisor, at the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale. The rabbi at HIR, Avi Weiss, oversaw Hurwitz's completion of the study of Yoredea, the traditional curriculum associated with Orthodox rabbinic ordination. But when it came time to give Hurwitz a title, Weiss created a new one, Maharat, an acronym of the Hebrew words meaning Jewish legal and spiritual leader and Torah teacher.
It means manhiga hilchatit ruchanit Toranit, which is a long way of describing the job and role of a rabbi. So I think when people say, oh, Maharat, what does that mean? I think the answer is Maharat means rabbi.
Blue Greenberg, the founder of the Jewish Orthodox Feminist Alliance and a longtime proponent of women's equality and orthodoxy, has mixed feelings about the title.
I haven't decided whether I like the sound of it or not, but, and I'm one of those who had hoped that it would be rabbi, but I think, as somebody said to me afterwards, this is the program and we go forward with it, and I'm fine with that.
Weiss, who was out of the country, told TJC in a phone interview that the title rabbi was avoided in order to, quote, show deference to the Orthodox system. And indeed, the criticism from those to the right of Weiss has been more muted than one might expect if Hurwitz were to be called rabbi. The Modern Orthodox Rabbinical Council of America offered no statement, and Rabbi Avi Shafran of the ultra-Orthodox Agudath Israel wouldn't offer comment on camera, but did say in a statement to TJC that our community is not particularly exercised by Jews who feel differently, even if we think them misguided. But if not calling Hurwitz rabbi deflected criticism from the right, it sparked criticism from more liberal movements of Judaism. Rabbi Dr. Judith Hauptman, a conservative rabbi and scholar, was unhappy with Hurwitz's title.
I'm disappointed that Rabbi Avi Weiss did not decide to call a woman who studied the same curriculum that men study, who took the same tests that men take, who functions in the community in the same way. For 5 years she's been functioning in the same way that men function. I'm deeply disappointed that she was not given the title rabbi.
But Hurwitz hopes her title will come to take on a significance of its own.
I should be called Maharat Zara Hurwitz. And when people say, what does that mean? I think we say, oh, that means she's a rabbi, the equivalent of a rabbi. And she's a full member of the clergy, full member of the spiritual staff at the HIR.
This point was emphasized in Weiss's released remarks, in which he called Hurwitz a full member of the clergy leading with the unique voice of a woman. And to Hurwitz, what's more important than the specific title is the example she sets for other women.
I was looking for a title so that girls in high school and college could look up and say, when I grow up, I want to be a maharat, or I want to be involved in spiritual leadership. I want to be a Orthodox female rabbi.
And Blue Greenberg says it's already happening.
There are lots of young girls who have been looking at her for the last 5 years and who were saying, I want to be that when I grow up.
Toward that end, Hurwitz is already talking about starting a program where other women may be certified, with a title yet to be determined. Reporting for the Jewish Channel, I'm Rebecca Honig-Friedman.
Thank you, Rebecca. Catholic clergy have come under fire in the Jewish community lately, but one group of cardinals and bishops is taking a stand against Holocaust denial. Christian Needham reports.
A delegation of 10 Catholic cardinals and bishops spoke out against Holocaust denial on Monday during a tour of New York's Jewish community. The visit came on the heels of the controversy surrounding the reinstatement of Holocaust-denying Bishop Richard Williamson.
Nobody who denies the Holocaust, the Shoah, can be bishop in the Catholic Church, can have an office in the Catholic Church.
But the delegation, led by the Archbishop of Paris, Cardinal André Vingt-trois, saw more than just a momentary need to fight Holocaust denial, echoing some of the same messages that advocates in the Jewish community have expressed.
Pour les générations d'après les survivants, il n'y a plus de témoins historiques.
And for the generation after that of the survivors, there are no more historical witnesses.
Et donc le négationnisme devient un phénomène qui a une certaine actualité.
And this is why Holocaust denial is something that becomes possible again, that becomes a current issue.
Et doit être combattu maintenant d'une façon plus systématique et plus scientifique qu'il y a 30 ans.
And this is why Holocaust denial should be fought against and also should be proved wrong in a scientific way, more systematically than 30 years ago.
The delegation made a special visit to the Museum of Jewish Heritage in Manhattan, where an exhibit on display detailed the efforts of Father Patrick Dubois to uncover mass graves of more than 1.5 million Jews killed in the former Soviet Union during the Holocaust. And members of the delegation pointed out that the Holocaust provides a needed lesson for today's world. Cardinal Peter Turkson, Archbishop of Cape Coast, Ghana, spoke of the need for Holocaust education in Africa.
In Africa it exists in tribal forms. The episode we had in Rwanda, when the Tutsis turned against the Hutus turned against the Tutsis, it was something similar. You just need an ethnic reason or whatever to be able to do almost what happened in the Holocaust. So that's the lesson never finishes being untold. It's something that can always be repeated on the different forms. If it's not religious, it can be ethnic. If it's not ethnic, it can be political. So it's a big lesson that we always need to learn.
But Turkson said that applying those lessons to the current situation in Darfur could not be accomplished because the United Nations has not become an institution to stop genocide.
In Darfur, the case in Darfur, you would have thought that now that we have, bodies like the United Nations, it should be possible to deal with a situation like this. But we're also aware of what happens on the United Nations. Some have veto powers. And China, which is now hungry for a lot of mineral resources and depends on Sudan and oil for a lot of things, it can block that. So again, are we learning from the lessons of the past?
That's all for this week. For more news and analysis from the Jewish Channel, please visit newsdesk.tjctv.com. From all of us here at the Jewish Channel, be well. The Jewish Channel is available on cable, IO Optimum Cable Channel 291, Time Warner Cable Channel 528, and Verizon Fios Channel 900. For more information, visit tjctv.com.